A very warm welcome to one and all present over here. Today we are going to talk about the selected works which have been nominated for Man Booker International 2021. So before we start this video, I want you to subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed it yet to get the future update and notification. I will be uploading another video on all the prize winners till 2020 on another video which will be coming up soon. So if you have anything else which you want me to do, let me know in the comment section, and I'm always open for criticism. So before we start, I want to tell you that there will be a lot of writers and there are a lot of works that we'll be covering. So if by chance this video's length goes beyond 4 to 5 minutes, we will be making another video and we'll be uploading that video in another part. So it will be easy for you to watch and comprehend as altogether. So in the first part of video, we are going to talk about the Chinese writer Tang Zhui, and her published work is I Live in the Slum, and this is translated by Karen Junod and Cheng Zeping. This was published by Yale University Press, and this novel talks about a man, his life in the slum. The novel opens a powerful word and its imagery, and we can see there is a man who is living in an area which is like very cold, and he as is like a slum dweller, and where he said that he's always welcome into the houses wherever you go. And the writer talks about the night which is so dark and so cold in nature, the people have to stay together to keep themselves warm. And then there is this man who's the feed is being eaten by rat, and there is no sign of displease in him. And he's like, after the incident has taken place, the rat has eaten the amount he needs. The man just simply gets up, he bandages his leg, and then he goes out to feed the pigs. Like, what was going on? It was like, after reading this and by continuing the novel, it was, you just cannot take your eyes off. It's as simple as that. So it's a must read work. Second writer we'll be talking about is David Diop, a French writer, and this work is translated by him himself. So the work name is At Night All Blood is Black. So this is a historical fiction talking about the event of World War I. In the story, we have two black men fighting for the French. As the story progresses, we see that Madamba is shot and is in pain, and he requests his friend Alpha. So there is two characters being introduced in the beginning only, Madamba and Alpha. So Alpha, Alpha is the character, the protagonist, which takes the story forward. But Madamba over here, he is shot, and the things from his body is like split outside, and he is requesting Alpha to kill him and shoot him and end his suffering. But Alpha is not having that much of courage to kill his own friend. And Madamba, he suffers the full night and he dies of a slow pain. And as the story progresses, we see how this the Alpha, he's losing his control over the mind. And in the war, we see that he's killing people brutally, and then he's chopping their hands and he's carrying it back. By seeing this behavior of Alpha, his own people little worried, and they are like spectacle about him, like what is wrong with him. And soon we see him that he is boycotted from his own regime, and the story goes on. Like, I won't tell you the full of it. Third work, and the writer which has been nominated, is a Georgian writer, Nana Akhtemeshvili. The work is The Pure Field. So this work is translated by Elizabeth Highway. In this work, The Pure Field, first, let me explain you the title. The title comes up with the name of a park which is situated just in near, or you can say in front of the international boarding school. So in this opening, we come to know there is an international school, boarding school, where everybody, the abandoned children are left over there, and how they have to face the world. What are the consequences? What are the things they have to go through before they become adult in their life? So in this story, there is this boy who has been brought over there by his mother, and her mother leaves him over there. She says that she will come back for him, but but she never returns. And then we have this a character. Her name is Leela. She was part of that institution, and she knows pretty well how the institution works. And after being a sufferer herself, she wants to save the other souls which are brought over there. She doesn't want the broken one to be shattered over there. So she's like a guardian angel waiting for by her mother. He has been taken under the wings of Leela, and she doesn't want the history to repeat itself. The molestation by her own teacher, she doesn't want the same thing to happen to the child. The fourth nominee is Mariana Enriquez. She's a Spanish writer. Her famous work is The Danger of Smoking in Bed, which is being translated by Megan McDowell. So this book is a collection of short story. In this, she talks about death. There's a lot to fear in this book, and this is breathtaking anxiety. There's a kind of fuller body terror, and then there's a talk about the role of fear in her work and unbroadly literature. Her realistic novel and her horror novels are a better way of expressing her language and her feeling. It's the best way she talks about the reality. The psychological anxiety and the trauma of dictatorship really marks in her life, and through her works she tells, she talks about the pain that she has been gone through. Hearing it, how simply she says that she is nothing but a writer which is inspired by Stephen King, Shelley Jackson, Paul Tremblay, and Stephen Graham. So she says, she admits that I want to write because this kind of works have already been written and I just want to carry it forward. But in that, doing that, I want to express, like, how people from my area, the Native America, they leave for the Europe, and everybody is like having a threat of being abandoned. So this thing, the abandoned children, the death, and the spirits, they all are like looking for their loved one. And she just, from her story, she's just trying to give a voice to all the muted ones. And like the pain, she's sharing her pain by her work, you can say, just simply like that. So the fifth nominees is like Benjamin Labatut, again a Spanish writer. The work is When We Cease to Understand the World, which has been translated by Adrian Nathan West. The book is a blend of fiction and fact. In this work we talk about several physicians, mathematicians, chemists who are trying to explain the world, the reality, and a point where technology turns the wheel of 20th century. This is also, it is said that where reality itself comes into the question. So as we all know, after talking about the post-colonial and the post-war era, we already know, like, how the man is now, the center is being shifted from the man to the technology, and how the technologies are going to take over the role of a man in the nature. We come to know about the science fiction, the element of science fiction being present over there, and how this things, trying to tell us, like, if we do this, this is going to happen. If we are going to do this, the consequences, we are going to bear it. So it is said, if the humans are going to make things which are going to destroy them, it's we who is going to be part of this end game. No other. We are not going to blame anybody else. And the sixth nominees, we have one of our favorite from Kenya. It's Ngugi wa Thiong'o. The book has been translated by himself, and it's so good to know that the person is writing in his own native language, and he's promoting it to the world. And he is one of those people who is raising voice, like, the colonizers' language should be left. And this is a great message to us as being an Indian. Like, we are still colonized and we still use the language of the colonizers, rather than giving respect and the value to our own native language. Mythical story, a folklore that is very famous in Gikuyu tribe. So this, it talks about a man who has 10 daughters. The element of historical novel is also portrayed in the beginning. The novel consists of myth, but not totally. Okay, so this perfect nine, what's the story, what's the catch of this perfect nine? So this perfect nine is like they use a number from 1 to 9. Despite of using 10, they say perfect 9. So the perfect 9 is counted as 10. So the story of how daughters trying to choose their husband. So in this mythical story, there's daughters who are so beautiful, like the people from different tribes, the 99 men from different tribes are coming to their village to marry their daughter, and they are self-sufficient, beautiful all together. In their beauty is known in the tribes, and they are like 99 men coming to marry them. So the fathers set out some challenges to prove themselves worthy. Okay, so we see as it progresses that the 9 daughters, like, before we go on to that, there is a quest, like, there's been challenges put by the father. They have to go to a mountain and bring the water from the mountain to them to prove their strength and loyalty, because in there would have been many dangers in the way, and many could have been even dead by proving their loyalty. So whoever comes back, they are the mighty one, and they are worth for their daughter. From this, we also come to know a strongly feminist perspective. This Olga Ravin, a Danish writer, she writes The Employee, which has been translated by Martin Aitken. This novel is about definitely a scientific fiction, and it talks about space and creature and the life in the space, and how it's going to be when they return back to the life, how they are going to face, how she's going to meet her child, and how the life is going to be, which is like not occurring in the novel. The work is a powerful and philosophical. She is inspired by visual arts. okay, as the source material and the logic of productivity, a life governed by work. This, she is being like, she said that, she was invited to visit a museum, the art exhibition, where she will be exploring creature like small creature like dogs kind of creature, small in size. So over there she gets the idea and she writes the whole novel, and after writing the novel she leaves some page to meet the one of her friend who has invited her for her exhibition. And when she meets, she goes for the exhibition after 1 year, after completing her book. She meets, and even her things from the novel has been portrayed over there, and it's a must read work when you talk about the scientific, futuristic, technological advancement the human can ever reach. And it's very good how she has taken a small like incident and made it into a story. Like, it's like she goes to a museum where this small kind of creatures she sees over there, and she's very inspired by this creature, and she comes and she develops this whole human and cyborg and kind of things, and the story takes up a very good shape. And one of the very must read work.